Righty ho, so we've got another supercharger Microsquirt install update video. I have got the 440cc injectors in place, tidied up the engine bay loom, got that all reinstalled so you can see it running along the left down the back, and tidied up the join there for the crank position sensor, coolant temp sensor there, and then it runs along there and around and into the main plug. Actually, you can see back there the ignition module, map, and then that's where it's coming through the firewall. And I've just got to hook up these bad boys here, which is for the wideband O2 controller. But yeah, coming together. It's almost time to put the plenum back on. Back to work. Righty ho, another update. Look, the plenum is on. It turned into a battle. I already had it fitted, realised I had put the brake booster line on the wrong thing on the back of the motor and had to pull it off, and then the plenum gasket decided to destroy itself. Luckily I still have the original motor out of the car sitting there, so I robbed the plenum gasket off that. I have used and recommend using head gasket copper spray. It does have the side effect of pretty much gluing them on, so when you pull it off it's going to kill it, but you're definitely going to have a way better seal than reusing the 20-year-old plenum gasket in this case. But yeah, she's all on. Most of the wiring's done. I've actually done the wiring for, and I gave it another coat of paint. It's actually come up quite tidy. And that little black wire there is my main power wire, and I actually ran another wire right across the back from the fuse box, so it's fused ignition on power supply for the O2 sensor and the cooling fan for the blower. So I think the next job's going to be to actually get the cooling fan mounted in and done, and then finally we can actually start putting the blower in. Woo! Rightio, back to work. I just wanted to do another quick wee video to show where I've mounted the electric pump, air pump motory thing, the cooling pump for the blower, because in all the Raptor builds I've seen no one seems to mention where they put it. So I've got it inside the front left guard. That's the back of the left lower indicator. This would be normally where that purge canister thing goes. It would normally mount there on the chassis. There was two holes in through the car that I utilised, so I only had to drill two new holes, which were the front two, so it would be those two at that end. I've got the K&N filter there, and then the pipe will go on there, and it's going to have to come down and loop up around through. I'll quickly hop out and have a look at where it's going to go. And then the cooling pipe will run through there, and with the way I've got it set up, the wires to the controller go straight up, so the controller, which is the only thing I must say I don't really like about this whole kit, it's meant to mount under a guard somewhere, and it's as not waterproof as not waterproof can get. So I was super happy when I realised I'll be able to mount it in the engine bay here somewhere, so it's hopefully a bit of a dry spot. I'm thinking actually just in under here somewhere. up there or something, but we'll see. That's no biggie, that's an easy thing. But yeah, that's going to go there, so there we go. We're getting close, it's almost time to fill the hole. Back to work. Rightio, here we are going to have a look at the supercharger mounting bracket, and this was at the end of Saturday, and that's the mount point bolted up where it goes onto the AC compressor, so that's basically hard up against that. And then in the next photo, if it wants to actually go, that's the obviously the top hole behind the power steering pump pulley, and you can see that it's almost, you can just see the hole behind it. So it's almost, you know, it's about 10 mil out. And then that's looking at the same spot from the top, and then that's the bottom left one. That I'm slightly off to the left, but yeah, it's more or less 10 mil out as well. And I gave up at that point. I'd already been working on it all day, and then decided to have another look at it today. I decided to, as you can see in this photo, I had a closer look and realised the big issue is this mount here appears to be it's about 10 or 11 mil out too far inward. So I thought, as opposed to cutting that off and re-welding it, which for me would be a pain in the ass, I'll just cut a chunk off the compressor mount there. But I ended up discovering that it's actually, this mount's too far forward and it's down quite a bit. I actually notched it on the other side of that black mark. But if we go back, it was just a couple of shots to show. Oh, and I discovered once I got it that aligned, that you can see where it's factory milled straight down, but it needs to have that notch there cut out as well to actually clear the power steering pump pulley. And that I've managed to get that bottom left bolt in. This next one is actually really, you can get it in, but it's really tight. It's a bit of an interference fit. It's a bit shit, so more adjustment's going to be needed to make that work better. Yeah, got to that point, and then that's showing how much I chopped out. More choppy. I'll quickly skip to the last shot. Yeah, and then I ended up chopping it again, just trying to be able to get a bolt in there, but yeah, I'm going to just cut that whole tag off and weld another bit on and re-drill it. And then hopefully that bolt there it'll be able to sit down a little bit more, and that bolt will hopefully line up better and not be so tight, or else its hole may need slightly slotting. But anyway, so I managed to get all three front mount bolts in and done up tight. And so I thought, yeah, fuck it, let's try and fit the supercharger. As you can see, it's hard against the bracket at the top. I've just seated a screw to hold it there so it doesn't fall down. And then that's basically looking straight down. So you can what it's trying to show is that supercharger's kicked out at the bottom. It's quite a few degrees. It's a good 10 odd mil back at the bottom. And the issue with that is the intake tube is already hard against the strut here, and it's hard against the loom, and it's just hard against everything. It's not like it's close, it's just hard into everything, and the supercharger needs to come down more, which means that needs to go towards that way more. So I'm either massively got it fitted up wrong, Do I have a photo of it? I don't think I have. Oh, there's another shot where it's hard against it on the left, hard against it on the right. I don't think even if the bracket was loose and you had the whole thing forward and swung it down and then pulled it back and bolted the bracket up, that it would clear. It just seems fucking way too close. Well, it's hard into it at that stage. I just don't see that doesn't curve enough to clear. I just don't see it clearing. I'll be amazed if it does. But because the bracket's such a tight fit at the moment, needs some more adjusting. You can't, well, I can't swing the bracket around easily, so yeah, I'm going to need to pull it all apart and fix the bracket some more, and then hope that this is actually not just going to interfere anyway, which is what I actually think is going to happen. But luckily, I've got my old mate here to help me out.